Get it?
Hey, Isaac,
Yeah?
what is a mouse's favorite board game?
I don't know.
Parcheesi. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. This is episode 200, and I am your host, Steven Dutzman. As always, this week, I have two special guests. First, not so much a guest, she's here all the time. That is Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power and Editor-in-Chief of Superparent.com and GameDaily.biz. Any other websites that you've taken over in the last month?
No, I'm planning on announcing more hostile takeovers in the new year.
Sure, fine. So just let me know so I can work it into the script. Also, joining us to help celebrate the video game half of our episode 200 celebration is the man behind the curtain, John Tomlinson, the founder and sole operator of Six Pack Nerds Productions. John Tomlinson, how are you, sir?
I am excellent. My job let me go tonight to come here and help you guys out.
Well, because you told them that it was a big deal. Episode 200 of arguably the biggest family video game podcast in the universe. I can't say the number one on the internet because I don't think that's true, but arguably the biggest in the known universe. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of competition, so we're good. So you told them and they were like, wow. You were here for 13 hours yesterday and we don't want you here anymore, so get out.
Yeah, exactly.
So this week we're going to talk about video games. Next week we're going to celebrate on the board game side, and I may have some special guests. Still working on it. But we're going to talk about video games to start, because that's kind of how it all began. And we're going to start by going around the horn, because it's been a minute. I apologize. First off, I apologize to Amanda for canceling on her 2 weeks in a row. At the last minute. I know how much you enjoy our chats, but
We do.
Number one, we had to prepare, and number two, man, it got busy these last couple of weeks. Who knew having children made things busy? Every parent on earth knows that having children makes things busy. So, since we've taken a year and a half off, that means we have definitely all played
in internet years.
Internet years. Yeah.
If we think about how much news has happened in the last month since we recorded, man, has there been a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But we have definitely played a ton of video games. All three of us have so many. Now, some of them can't talk about because of embargoes and ESRB ratings.
My embargo is up, but the ESRB rating does not cooperate.
Yes. If you're a grown-up, I suspect you're going to want to look at the Outer Worlds later on, because lots of people have been gushing about it.
Because Winky Face.
Winky Face. It is. I will be playing it.
And it's free on Game Pass.
It is free on Game Pass. Well, all right, it's included on Game
Friday.
Pass. Can we say it's free? Because it's included, right?
It's included. Yeah.
But
it feels like it's free, right?
I know.
Like you internalize that subscription service. It's like, oh, they're all free games. I'm not paying for these.
It's kind of like The Mandalorian is going to be free on Disney Plus, but really we're all paying $7 a month for it. We could talk for an hour about how good of a value Disney Plus is. Yikes.
We could talk about subscription services for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we
I
could.
have thoughts about that business model, fam.
The fact that you could watch all of Gargoyles and DuckTales.
Hello, yes.
Yeah. I don't care.
Thank you.
Listen, you know what? Let's put a pin in the subscription service thing, because Amanda, that sounds like a whole episode.
Yes.
And we'll
about
do that.
Subscription services,
that sounds like a great topic. I'm loving that. So, speaking of subscription services, let's talk about Apple Arcade, because I know
Oh my God, yes.
you played a bunch of Apple Arcade games, and so did I. So why don't you start by talking about a few, and then I have some catch-up to do to tell people about some of our Apple Arcade games of the week.
Okay. I don't have Apple Arcade games of the week, but I definitely have a lot of Apple Arcade games that I played.
Because you don't want to limit yourself.
So, I will limit myself, I promise.
Okay.
I promise. So, I have been playing Cat Quest 2. I did not play the original Cat Quest. I missed the boat on original Cat Quest.
Yeah, you did. Because that is
to my personal chagrin.
Because that is 100% Amanda game. Cat Quest is Amanda game.
Yeah, that's an Amanda game. It really, really is. But Cat Quest 2 has a dog, which makes it even more an Amanda game because I am a dog person.
Okay.
I like cats. I do. But I love dogs. That's why I have 2 of them. So I've been playing a lot of Cat Quest 2. That game is so much fun on the iPad. It's not as good on the iPhone because I feel like that's the kind of game where you need to spread out. You need a big screen in order to enjoy it, and also traversal is very challenging on a tiny little screen.
Touch controls for an action RPG? That's the problem. That's why you need the iPad. It works? All right.
It works on the iPad. It genuinely does. It doesn't work so much on the iPhone, though. I tried it on the iPhone, and I'm like, no.
Right.
No good. Okay. That's
Cat
my
Quest
biggie,
2.
so we can come back.
Cat Quest 2 is really... It has not made any of our lists yet, but I suspect it'll come soon. But
would you call it a perfect game?
Oh.
Pretty meowtastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, I'm the dad joke guy here. Okay, so that's...
But I make so many dad jokes.
Yeah. That's what we do at work all day.
All right. Okay, you do make dad jokes.
You met my partner? My goodness.
I have.
He's like the king of dad jokes. I learned from somewhere.
You did. All right, so that's Cat Quest 2 is numero uno. What's the next one? You got any more?
Yes, of course I do. I have also been playing Card of Darkness, which is this cutesy little... How do I even describe it? Card of Darkness it's like a dungeon dive. So you are going in and you are trying to defeat these dungeons by picking up swords and daggers and potions and defeating enemies by tapping on them. And it gets continuously harder. So you have to match up your so let's say that you are about to fight like something that has an even amount of hit points. You have to hit it with something that has an even amount of damage on that particular weapon.
Okay.
Otherwise it breaks.
Ooh.
So if it breaks, there are only a limited number of weapons in a given level. So if you screw it up badly enough, you're going to end up having to punch everything, which means that you can't soak any damage whatsoever, and you are at the mercy of the enemies.
Wow.
So it's really hard. Like, this
Okay.
game is deceptively difficult, and you're trying to like cut a path through these enemies in order to get to the stairs that will take you to the next level, or to the end of the level that has the Card of Darkness, which you can then equip and use at the end of the level.
Okay. All right. If this was like 2 years ago and that game got released, it would have 100% been like a free-to-play, microtransactions all over the place. It probably would have had like energy and all sorts of other mechanics. Gated content. And it would have like fought against you to enjoy it. Like it would have been like an angry cat. Like, I just want to love you. And it's like, no.
I just want to love you. And this is the game. The game is very weird.
It definitely looks weird.
I wish you guys could see this. We got to do some like video podcasts at some point.
Yeah.
So I can like show off the games I'm playing.
We certainly could. I have the technology to do that.
Sure you do.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's Card of Darkness and Cat Quest 2. Man. Yes. All right. So what else? How about one more?
And I can do one more.
All right. Do one more, and then I'll pop in.
Okay. Pinball Wizard is the other one that I have gotten almost all the way through. This is the weirdest game I've played in a long time, and I love really weird games.
I don't believe that it's the weirdest game. One of the weirdest games you played in a long time. Because you play some weird stuff.
It's extremely weird. Well, okay, yeah. You got a point there.
You play some weird stuff, bro.
I do. That's my job.
And I mean that.
I really like narrative games. my favorite. So anyway, Pinball Wizard is weird in the sense that your wizard is the ball that you are pinning around.
Sure.
And you have to the aim of the game is to like climb as many, parts of the tower as you can because you're trying to like put the marble of life back together so the world is
Sure.
saved
Sure.
or what. Anyway,
Whatever.
the narrative is very thready. The narrative doesn't matter.
Is
It's
the
mechanics
narrative
that-
better or worse than Street Fighter?
Considering I have never played the new Street Fighter, I don't know.
I'm going to guarantee that it is better.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
Because anyway, yeah. All right. So
Anyway, it is a pinball game. It is a pinball game where you can level your character up. It's a pinball RPG. So your wizard is your pinball,
Sure.
and you're just like you're shooting the wizard all over the place, and you're leveling up, and you can throw ice balls so you can freeze your enemies and shoot across the dungeon to try to defeat enemies, and you have to unlock the next room by defeating enough enemies to find the key. And enemies are all different too. So some of them like get really mad if you come near them instead of hitting them directly. If you like are around them, they turn red and flamey and horrible. And if you hit them, you take damage. So, and if you end up falling off the tower, you end up taking damage. So, I mean, it's a really challenging game. I'm almost done. I've made it to the last level. But it's really hard.
all right, I bet. I mean, it sounds like Metroid Pinball meets Marble Madness, which is like
Yes.
which is insane to me. I mean, listen, I'm going to go download it as
It's a
soon as we're
bonkers
done.
game.
It sounds
It's
great.
a bonkers game. You should play it. It's super good.
Sure. I am intending to sound sincere. It's just hard for me to sound sincere talking about a game about a wizard that is hit around like a pinball. But
Pinball Wizard.
what am I supposed to do? So,
Let's just a Pinball Wizard at the same time.
sure, sounds great. Listen, I'm gonna play it. I'll report back.
I look forward to it.
Okay, so EFG has a new thing we do. Every Monday, we declare a EFG Apple Arcade Game of the Week. That's actually going to have its own podcast very soon. We have started recording them. So the first time, our first game, man, I can't even remember what it was. It was only 3 weeks ago. But it doesn't matter. You can go back and listen to the last one. But we have 2 more, because we've had a bunch of weeks. So 2 more. The first one is called Word Laces, and this one was chosen by Maggie.
Yay,
So,
Team Maggie!
I want to make it I want to just point this out. This is a spelling and word puzzle game that was chosen by a 6-year-old. Now, she's actually literally playing it on my phone right now on the other side of the room. So,
Oh my goodness, bless her.
so here is the shtick for Word Laces. Word Laces is a game where you are, there's a picture at the top of the screen, and then underneath it are a series of letters and letter combinations that you have to connect together to make words, the words being represented in the picture. So, sometimes it'll be single letters, sometimes it will be a combination of single letters and, up to 3 or 4 letter combinations. And when you connect them, a shoelace ties them. So it's like you're tying a shoe to make the word. And so each level is one photo representing a bunch of different things. It's kind of like Dixit kind of level where, bringing some board game stuff. But it's Dixit where some of the pictures are very
neat.
interpretive. And so the way I knew
like
this
that, though.
is I was sitting with Maggie, and I brought this game up because it just looked kind of neat, and I knew that there was going to be nothing questionable in it. And so I just started playing, and I got stuck on a level, and she goes, "Daddy, the word is love, see?" And then she drew love, because it just so happened that that's what it was. And I was like, what's going on? And so I just gave her my phone, and she just cleared the next 2 or 3 levels. So it does not hurt that she is smart. She gets that from her mother. But the fact that all the letter combinations are there, helps, right? Because there's some level of, a little bit of experimentation. There are no lives. There are no You can just play the game. And you can ask for hints. There's a little light bulb at the bottom, and it'll do the first 2 and get you started. She's on... Maggie, what level are you on?
I have no idea.
Okay, it's in the 50s, at least. And most of it at this point she has done herself. So she chose Word Laces. Again, this is free as part of your Apple Arcade subscription. If you are cool with word puzzles, then this is...
Level 58.
Which level?
58.
58 she is on.
Get after
and
it, my
I
girl.
probably did 20 of them. So she's going crazy. And the cool part is, as you complete the levels, you unlock different kinds of shoes, which change the color of the screen and the color of the shoelaces.
Okay.
So currently, I think she's rocking some neon green running shoes, so the shoelaces are green, but she could change it to dress shoes.
I wish that for some reason it changed back to the brown.
Oh, it changed back to the brown shoes?
And
Okay,
then
well, you
Jacob
can fix
changed
that.
it to the-
All right. Thank you,
I
Maggie.
wonder if there's tap shoes
I'm
or
sure.
ballet shoes.
Oh, I'm sure there are. So, okay. So, so that's Word Laces. Very excited about Word Laces. And then
That sounds really neat.
So this week was actually chosen by the General herself, who will be joining us next week for the board game segment. So you actually get to meet the General
What?
for the first
I'm
time.
so excited.
I know, she's very excited to meet you too, Amanda.
Hooray!
The strange woman that I've conjured forth from the internet and talk to every week. My wife desperately wants to know why you talk to me, because she doesn't get it. So that was a joke. It was a joke. Although she made it, so it works. Oh,
wow.
come on. You'll get it when you meet her. It's fine. So she chose The Enchanted World, which is another puzzle game.
I kind of love that. I'm so bad at it, though.
Yo, it is a very hard puzzle game. I could not finish one stage. So,
I finished one.
oh, well, because you're smarter than me, Maggie.
Maggie's also smarter than me.
Yeah, well, she's really, really smart. Okay, so The Enchanted World. I think there are 3 things that people need to remember on this one. It is gorgeous.
Yes.
I particularly love the lighting in this one. I know that sounds weird that I would be super praising the lighting in a puzzle game on my iPhone, but it's true.
This sounds like something I would do.
Well, I've spent a lot of time with you over the last handful of months, so you're rubbing off. Next thing you know, I'm going to play some like weird, goofy, like Cthulhu dating sim and be like, Amanda taught me. Sorry, guys.
Wait, are you talking about Monster Prom? Because that
yeah.
already exists.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't what I was talking about, but as soon as I said it, I was like, oh crap, Amanda knows this game. Listen, I could just roll dice and name weird games, and you've probably played it. So
It's out there.
yeah. Oh, I mean, it's out. It's definitely out there. I've been to BFIG. I've seen the depths.
I've seen things.
I've certainly seen some things.
I gotta play NYC next. You see some more things.
Listen, I want to. We're going together next year.
True.
As homies.
I know a guy.
They invite me every year. I just keep forgetting to get my tickets.
They're very sweet. I like
You
them
just
very
need to remind me.
I will.
So, all right. So, first thing, it's gorgeous. Lighting is amazing. Basically, you play a wizard, witch, magic user type person who's traveling through the land, and the idea is the land in front of you gets scrambled, more or less. And so you need to they're basically like these slide puzzles, and you will slide all of the tiles in a row, and you're trying to make a path for water to go or for a road to go so you can cross through it, and you're trying to make the land make sense. And
I wish I could make it make sense.
And I am terrible
bad.
at it. But it's one of those things where if you are good because my wife is very good. You know those puzzles that are like the squares and you slide things around and you're trying to unscramble them. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
So bad at those games.
my wife is remarkably good at
Tile
them.
games, yeah.
Or which is also why she beat the crap out of me in Rubik's Race. Of which, if you want to see a video of my wife beating the crap out of me in Rubik's Race, you can go to our YouTube channel and take a look. She absolutely kicked the garbage out of me. It was bad. So she's super good at this. And so this is one of those games, and this is why I recommend it, but I think everyone should give it a try. But if you bounce, you bounce, and it was free as part of your Apple Arcade subscription. So the mechanics are very simple. You come to the level. It presents in an isometric view this either a road or a river, and you have to slide the squares and complete whatever the line is, whether you're completing a road or a river, eventually both. And yeah, it's really cool. What I really like is if you're completing a river, like the water flows down the completed parts and like kind of sloshes up against the spot. It just looks really good.
Nice.
It's like little touches. This is going to sound like super high praise and maybe even a little hyperbolic, but just roll with me. It almost feels like there are some Nintendo touches there where it's just like the little things, like the little details, the way things move, the way things settle. They really paid attention to the details. This is another one that could not have been made 3 or 4 years ago. Like, if this was just a free-to-play game, it would have been, it would have been disappointing. And if it was $5, no one would have bought it.
True.
So that's the Enchanted World. So those are the two I'm bringing today. Those are our 2 EFG Apple Arcade games of the week: Word Laces and the Enchanted World.
I'm gonna have to go try Word Laces.
Word Laces is so
Maybe I'll get Vivi involved because she's starting to get into reading and stuff.
No, you know what? But and I absolutely think she could, because this is one of those things where it's not like you have to come up with the word out of nowhere. You have context, you have the letters there, and so to a degree, it's kind of like a word search. The difference is everything's kind of scrambled, and so if she has that kind of mind where she can kind of arrange those things, it's great. The only downside is you can't like change the order of where the letters are. You know what I mean? You can't move them yourself. You just have to kind of visualize them in that row where they are. But
okay.
I mean, if I were to say downside, I would say that with like heavy air quotes. It's just one of those things.
Heaviest air quotes like this.
The craziest air quotes. So, okay, so that's enough Apple Arcade. I think we made 5 recommendations. We were heavy on the Apple Arcade.
Never, ever enough Apple Arcade.
True, but I want to hear about some of this Destiny 2, because Shadowkeep came out in the last few days.
Tell me about Shadowkeep. I haven't played it yet.
So Tomlinson, you've been playing some Shadowkeep. You played Destiny on the PS4?
Yep.
That's where you and I played. He helped me finish he helped me get past some missions that I was stuck at. And he helped me.
Yeah.
So tell me, my friend, is it good?
It's excellent. Like they know their audience now. So basically what they do is they've turned it into a battle pass model. Mm-hmm. But like it's a lot of looking for loot and getting that specific gun that you have to grind for that you like a lot. But there's so much story and lore behind it that they give it to you like right up front. Like, did you play Destiny 1, Amanda?
I did. I played it extensively.
So like Eris Moore is back.
Really?
We going to the moon.
We're going back to the moon?
We're going back to the moon. Yes.
Did the wizard come from that moon?
Yes.
Wizard totally came from
So there's like wizards. There's like so what they did do was a lot of the environments and the enemies are remixes. Okay. So they are nightmares. So you're gonna go and fight Crota again and a bunch of other old school lore people to and then
Crota's kind of a pain.
Oh yeah. It's not as bad as it was because like you could max out pretty well. Like there's no like you don't start really low. Like they grind you up really fast.
I
So
did
like
hear
it's not
that. I
that
hear
bad.
that they
Yeah.
pushed like the minimum level up so
Yeah,
that
the bid
everybody
is the
is
minimum's like
there.
now 750. So just by logging in, you're at 750. Um,
Okay.
this is also available on Steam and Xbox, and you could cross save now. So
The cross save is so good.
you could take your guy anywhere now.
I
So
love it.
Or girl.
that part's really cool. So, but then there's a lot of there's a couple new maps for like Crucible, which is their PvP. They did this new thing last year called Gambit, which I know Steven didn't get a chance to play, where it was it's PvE but also PvP. So
Yeah.
like you're fighting somebody else, you're fighting bad guys, but then you get a chance to pop over to the the other person's map, and then go
Okay.
fight those bad guys, fight
Oh,
the other
I
guys.
remember reading about this.
That is a lot of fun. They did a newer version of Gambit a couple months ago called Gambit Prime, I think, or was the other way around? They called Gambit Prime and something else. But
Now there's two Gambits.
Yeah, there's two Gambits now.
All right.
And
Okay.
there's a whole lore behind that guy that finished up like in the springtime, because he's like a very sketchy dude. Like he to get his quest, like you like duck under like a half drop, like you know what, when you go to the mall and they're closing the gates.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like halfway down. So you duck under there to go talk to him the first time. And then they just like moved him to the basement in the tower now. So like all the sketchy dudes hang out in the basement now. So
Oh,
it's all
I mean, like that's a
sketchy
cool
dudes.
place to
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
isn't
yeah.
that the truth? Sketchy dudes hanging out in the basement. So let's get everybody. So we just like dove head first into
Yeah,
Destiny
yeah.
2. So for those folks that haven't listened, because we haven't talked about Destiny 2 on the podcast in a hot minute, so let's get
Yeah,
everybody
in a
caught
hot
up.
minute.
So the interesting thing, Destiny 2 is owned by developed and published by Bungie, who is themselves now. They used to be owned by Activision, right? Were they owned by Activision, Amanda?
No, they
they're-
were not
they're-
owned by Activision. So Activision.
This is I wanted to
only
get the
published-
facts.
So they
Okay.
only published the
Okay.
the IP, which is how Bungie was able to be like peace
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
get back to publishing their own stuff.
So thank you. I knew you'd have my back with the facts. Shout out
Business
to
writer sometimes knows stuff.
shout out to, I would say all the times. Shout out to GameDaily.biz. So Bungie makes this game. It used to be published by Activision, and they had very strict rules on how this game was to operate. They refused to call it an MMO, even though for real, it was an MMO.
Yeah, from like
And now,
screenshot one.
yeah, we're like, oh, so it's an MMO,
True.
a shared world shooter. Oh, okay. So now that's what they called
What
it.
even is that?
Destiny, apparently.
They invented it. Yeah.
But it's an MMO. So now they call it an action MMO, which
Yeah.
is like very free. It must be very freeing for the people at Bungie to
Yeah.
finally be able to just call their game what they actually wanted to call it in the first place. And so they have obviously changed a lot of their philosophies regarding how they sell this game, because it is now free up to the newest expansion. And it's on Steam, which it never would have been before. So this is, could you even imagine? Jeez. So it is, this is one of those things, I talk about Destiny, and we include Destiny in our coverage for Engaged Family Gaming because it is a T-rated shooter where you are shooting aliens as opposed to people. And so while it certainly earns its T rating based on some of its intensity and you're fighting big old aliens, for parents that want to say yes to something, then this is your alternative to, it's a very reasonable alternative to Call of Duty and Battlefield and some of the other more, hardcore first-person shooters. But this is made by Bungie. This is not some, amateur hour hack job. These guys invented this genre. So
Yes.
so
With Halo.
Exactly, with Halo. So this is one of those things which all three of us have put way too many hours in.
Gosh, so many.
Yeah.
And that's why one of the reasons why we bring this game up, because it is, especially as we come around to holiday time, there's gonna be a lot of kids getting consoles. Destiny is one of those free games that you can just kind of boot up, and maybe they only get one. Maybe your kid only is getting one game. They can download Fortnite and Destiny. Those are some really good gaming experiences.
Yeah, you're good for like a while.
Yeah, exactly. So
a lot of content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Especially Destiny, the like grind up to all the stuff that's already there, all the free to play stuff is
hours,
pretty
dozens
massive.
of hours.
If you're if you because you get like everything from Forsaken back, I think, and all that stuff is like at least a month's worth of content.
Yeah. If that. It's probably even more. And so, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up. Not just because Amanda and I desperately want to play this thing and have no time, so we want to live vicariously through the wizard.
Yep.
It is, man.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it serves an
I
editorial
put other
purpose.
Games on the shelf where it's just like there's some M games that are on my list, and it's just like I still got so much to do in Destiny first.
Yep.
All those other games will, they'll be there, and they'll be discounted by the time I get around to them.
Yep.
So,
Man, Destiny 2. And so Shadowkeep is the newest expansion. Do we know when the next one's coming? Did they say when?
So they've changed their model. So Shadowkeep is basically the new thing.
Okay.
And then, so if you call Shadowkeep like 2.5, and then each season will be like a battle pass. So it's not that bad. Where like you pay like $20 a season or something like that. But
Sure.
then
That's not bad.
there's some other thing where if you pay the $35 for Shadowkeep, I think it's another $25 or something. It comes out to $50 or $60. You're good for the rest of the season. So until the next big update a year from now, because they usually do yearlies, and it's usually in September, October.
Sure.
Yep.
In
the
for
lead up to the holiday
$60
push.
for a whole year with all the content you could want across 3 different characters.
True.
It's a lot.
I wonder when they're going to add a 4th class. I feel like it's got to be coming at some point.
I don't know. They keep
There
it
was a
pretty
lot of
fresh,
rumors
though.
about for a 4th class, and then there was a lot of rumors that more aliens were coming in this one. So like, I don't know.
Somewhere on a whiteboard at Bungie,
Yeah, there's a 4th
they
class.
put 4th class because they don't have, and this is one area just to. The one thing they do not have is a dedicated support character.
Yeah.
Everyone, and this is because, and I think it's
And
possible.
that's the crazier thing. Like if you look what's happened the last year, Destiny is still number 1 out of the mouth in a shooter game as a MMO now, and like Anthem came and went. Like
Wow.
Anthem went down hard. So
Anthem was
like,
never. Anthem didn't have a chance. It didn't because that game was not ready.
No.
It wasn't ready.
Yeah.
It needed.
And it's too bad because the traversal in Anthem was just. It felt so good to fly.
And Destiny did the craziest thing last year. It's not a spoiler because it's in the trailer for it, but the opening of Forsaken, like the trailer, they go off and they kill one of the best characters in the game.
Why you
And
gotta
they're
spoil it for
still
me?
here. What?
Why you gotta spoil it for me?
It's
I'm
in
just,
the trailer.
I get, dude. I
You've
get it. It's
seen
a joke.
You
it's a joke.
know it.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm just being sassy.
And I love him. Have you guys watched The Rookie? It's so good.
Hard shift. You just broke my brain. Okay, so that's Destiny 2. I unabashedly love that game. I have a PC coming
You
soon,
just
so
don't
I might
have
be.
time to play it.
I don't, but you know what? I gotta stream something, guys. I gotta stream an MMO.
Yeah.
Why not?
Pretty
right?
MMO-y.
It is. Not only is it pretty MMO-y, they actually call it one now.
Yeah. They're
Kinda
allowed
great.
to.
So can I just also say, speaking of MMO-y stuff, Gambit is just Alterac Valley, but it's a shooter. Can we just stop? It's Alterac Valley. World of Warcraft fans will remember. It's just Alterac Valley. I know it's not actually, but that's what it feels like to me. Anyway, that was a deep World of Warcraft cut. Amanda knows. She's like, "Wow, Steve, letting your dork flag fly."
Wow. Like WOW.
Yeah. Oh
wow.
man. This is why we only let him on once every 100 episodes or so. Anyway. So why don't we take a break? Wait, actually, I have one more game I want to talk about before we take a break. Amanda, I played Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
It is divine. So, I never played. Yeah, you need to play at least a couple hours of it. I don't know that you need to finish it, but I think you need to play a couple hours.
I played at 83, but I only played like a 20-minute demo.
Yeah, you need to like at least a good afternoon of it, I think, is what you need to really like embrace. It is so cute. That's really what it is. This game is so cute.
Yeah.
And I never played the Game Boy game.
I didn't either.
So
Me neither.
Didn't have one.
Yeah.
But it's Mike's favorite game. That's his favorite Legend of Zelda game. Is Link to the Past.
You mean
that's like
Link's
that for a
Awakening
lot
or
of
Link to the
people.
Past?
Hmm?
You mean Link's Awakening or Link to the Past?
Link to the Past.
Okay, so this is supposedly there's actually if you go to the video game historian, he did a whole history of Link's Awakening. This was supposed to be a port. Forgive Maggie, she's playing with the dog. She's running around in a sleeping bag apparently. So it started as a port for Link to the Past to the Game Boy, and then it just went off the rails. To the point where now it includes side-scrolling sections and Goombas and a chain chomp. It's just bananas. It
seems bananas.
So it is absolutely gorgeous. The music is. I mean, they basically took the score from the Game Boy game and put it with an orchestra. This is. When they announced that they were remaking a Game Boy game, I was like, all right, cool, whatever, right? Like, I was like, fine, they need filler. Now I get it. Like, it's like, okay, there's something special about this game, just the way that it's laid out and just some of the cool, different things that they did. Like, the last handful of Zelda games released on consoles have been all about kind of like reinventing it or showing that the Zelda formula is okay to change. Good night.
Good night, Maggie.
And this is Breath of the Wild went one way, right? Like it went way bigger and blew up the linearity and just let you do whatever. And
what this did, it got back to the whimsy.
Yeah,
it got back to that art style that we liked, from the original game art, like for the instruction manuals, and we're just like, we could do this now. We can make this a real thing. Like we kind of went with Wind Waker, but like redid the whole game that way, and that's why it's so inspiring, so beautiful. Yeah,
man, I love it.
It's such a pretty game.
This is one of those things that I hope a lot. I'm of two minds. Like, one, I hope a lot of kids play this game.
Yeah.
Because it is cute, but also, it's a real game. Like, there is game here. There's plenty of... I mean, they can play Paw Patrol if they just wanted a cute game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this is cute, but it's got chops. Like, this is going to challenge some kids. The only other piece is that this is a shot-for-shot remake of the Game Boy game. To the point where, like, if you watch videos side by side, it's just uncanny. Which means it's hard and kind of obtuse.
Yeah.
So there's some places there was one occasion where I just literally had no idea what to do. And I was like, "Hey Evan, tell me what to do because I know you did this." And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm an
Dad,
adult. I don't
try
have time."
YouTube.
And I'm like, I could just look this up on YouTube, or I could ask you to tell me where to go. And he was like, "Nah." So I looked it up on YouTube. I'm like, he's like, "Dad, that's cheating." And I'm like, first off, no, it's not.
No.
Second of all, this YouTuber needed his clicks. I'm just helping. I'm contributing to his. I don't know. I'm not really helping anything. It is. So there. That's my only concern is that if this is like the only game that some kids get, like they get a Switch and then they get Link's Awakening, it's a little obtuse in places. So I'm hoping people find some really good walkthroughs online. I'm sure IGN has one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but man, it's so beautiful. Do you guys? Is it physically in your home, Amanda?
Oh yes.
Okay. Oh, you guys got?
here.
Did you guys get the collector's edition? Because Mike's a dork.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes to both. Yes
To all.
Yes to all. Yes, we
to
have
all.
it. Yes, we got the collector's edition. Also, yes, Michael is a dork. And that's okay. I mean that with the utmost love and respect. I
call Mike a dork all the time.
Yeah, he earns it. Also,
his response is that's
fair. I mean, I dress up like an elf, so
Yeah.
I can't call anyone a dork.
Yep.
And you're gonna do that with me. I officially recruited her, John. You'll have to come that event. We're
Definitely.
bringing her to Cinderfell. So we'll talk about that later, folks. So anyway, so let's take a break because we need one. Then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do two. We're gonna have two more segments. One, we're gonna gaze into the future. Another one, we're gonna take a little look back at EFG history to celebrate episode 200.
Yay.
Hey everybody, this is Steve, I'm the host. If you like listening to this podcast, you probably like some of our other content too. You can find that all over social media, so make sure to head over to facebook.com/engagedfamilygaming. Perhaps you might like to see some stuff on Twitter by going to twitter.com/EFGAMING, or maybe you just want to head on over to Instagram and look for Engaged Family Gaming there. See you later, guys. Bye now. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 200 of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. I'm still Steven. I'm still joined by both Amanda and John Tomlinson, the man behind the curtain. Amanda is, as always, the Princess of Power. I should not declare her title. So let's gaze into the future, because the last couple of weeks have been a doozy for video games. Sony officially... So they officially admitted... I'm not going to call it an announcement. I'm going to call it an admission that the PlayStation...
Like, it's okay, guys.
What?
We got this.
We got this.
We got this.
They finally admitted that it is going to be referred to as the PlayStation 5. Basically, all that did is just made it easier for business writers to not have to say the video game console that we assume will be referred to as the PlayStation 5. They can now just say
Like,
the
this is
PlayStation
an
5.
asterisk right there.
Yeah. It saves all manner of editors from figuring out how they're going to do it. So they announced that. They said that it is coming holiday of 2020, which is next year. But they did it in a weird way again, Amanda. What does Wired have on them?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Okay. So there's some weird speculation going on that because Wired is very much so, like, it straddles the line between being mainstream
Yep.
and enthusiast,
Yep.
right? And it's very tech oriented. So they have very tech proficient writers and journalists that are actually able to, keep a lid on things and be able to ask those smart questions. I mean, additionally, It's just, I don't know, it's a good fit. At least it's not going to the Financial friggin' Times.
You're right.
Or Bloomberg.
You're right. You're right. It makes sense. I mean, listen, but Sony, how about next time come to me for some exclusives? I will gladly announce the name of the controller. How about that? It's the DualShock 5. But whatever, I'll announce it. It's fine. I'm just jealous. So, Wired, once again, with the exclusive, talking about the hardware itself, and then a random blog post on the PlayStation blog talking about the controller and some of the other stuff. Yeah, it was weird, but exciting because we have a new console coming next year.
We do.
So why don't we start? Amanda, do you recall some of the information from that the Sony announced?
Oh, I can do you one better.
Are you gonna?
I can go to.
Are you gonna?
I can go to my site.
You're gonna cite which one? Because I'm sure it was covered on both of them.
I'm gonna cite on my site. All right, hold on. I got this. There we go. PlayStation 5 launching holiday 2020.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So some of the things that are very low key technical details. The story, Wired Story talked a little bit about, the hardware level ray tracing, which ray tracing right now just feels like a buzzword, but it actually is really beautiful if you have a computer that can run it, and not cripple literally every process in the same capacity. So not control. So the other thing that it's got, it's a revamped UI, so you'll be able to, you'll get a fresh look on the PlayStation 5 that looks nothing like the PlayStation 4, or might be a little bit like the PlayStation 4, because I know the PS4 UI ended up cribbing from the PS3 UI. Cerny, so Mark Cerny, he ended up talking to Wired also about, the solid state drive, and how there will also be a 4K Blu-ray drive that can run discs with storage up to 100 gigabytes, which means that we are potentially going to be seeing ginormous games. Ginormous. So big.
So big.
So big.
Which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It is. It's really bonkers, right? But we're seeing lots of games these days that come in at a solid 60 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the Outer Worlds is a solid 60. So the other thing that they announced was the new controller. So the new controller, it doesn't have a name yet, will not be a rumble controller.
It will not.
It will not. It has haptic feedback.
The era of rumble is over.
The era of rumble is kind of sort of mostly over. You kind of get the rumble over on, your Switch with your Joy-Con, and you kind of get the rumble, I think, with Xbox. You can there's rumbles on the Xbox, right?
Yeah,
I don't play with Xbox enough.
Yeah, there's definitely rumble on that.
Yeah, okay, cool, because I'm rarely on my Xbox these days. I've just told on myself.
Same.
It makes me sad. I love Microsoft and I love Xbox, but I play all my games on PC, so unless I'm playing something on the PlayStation. So yeah, there's gonna be this. It's gonna be really interesting. We don't really know too much about their game lineup yet. Obviously, they're gonna be holding that very closely. They don't want anybody to know what their third and first parties are looking like. But it's gonna be really interesting. Holiday 2020. So this time next year, we're gonna be starting to ramp up to the PlayStation 5 launch. In addition, I think, to Project Scarlet.
Yeah.
Which is also holiday 2020.
Yeah, so it's possible that within a month of each other, just like PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah, they're definitely going to be within the same month, I think.
I mean, that would probably be how things go. It's not like they coordinate it.
Yeah, but
they're just going to choose whatever time is best for consumers.
Yeah, because they want to sell a bunch of them. They will be. So the one thing that you didn't bring up about the controller that I do want to, because is probably the thing that I'm most excited about is the adaptive triggers.
The adaptive triggers are really interesting, yeah.
So for the first time really ever, the controller will be able to adjust the tension on the triggers on the controller, so that pulling a trigger on a gun might be slightly different than pushing the brakes on a speeding car or trying to draw a bow. Drawing a bow, because we all know we're going to be doing that a lot as Aloy in so a first party. You mean to tell me a first party game heavily influenced by running around in the mud, and they reference specifically running around in the mud and drawing a bow and an arrow, and I was like, oh, so what you're saying is you made these
Gorilla
special.
Don't give us number 2.
Gorilla is gonna have fun, cool controller junk to do in Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever they're gonna call the sequel.
Very important to remember about Horizon Zero Dawn as well is that is a T rating.
Yeah. Oh man. Listen. Well, you know what? That's going to come up later. This is what we call a tease for the next segment. Horizon Zero Dawn being a T-rated game. We talked about that quite a bit. That was pre the era of Amanda, as I like to call it. But yes, Tomlinson heard me gush about that game across probably 3 or 4 dozen podcasts. It was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Loved it. Okay, so yeah, we don't know the launch lineup. Here's my prediction. Madden, FIFA, 2K22. I would bet Just Dance will be on that thing.
Yes.
And Skyrim.
Yeah, of course.
Because of course Skyrim is going to be on it, because Skyrim is on everything. And frankly,
so also, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Last of Us 2.
Oh, well,
and Death Stranding.
Oh well, yeah, obviously. But I think I bring up Skyrim because Skyrim with no load times, fundamentally different game. Like the enhanced editions or whatever. Skyrim with no load times, fundamentally different game. I am so down with that. Anyway, so that's the PlayStation 5, and as Amanda said, the Xbox Scarlet or whatever they're going to call it. Hopefully they give it a good name. I really hope they do, because they've really not been helping themselves in the name department. And that's coming. It's going to be another Battle of the Titans. Meanwhile, Nintendo's over here like, whatever. We just put
Nintendo's eating everybody's lunch right now, so
they're like, whatever, guys. You notice they'll be selling their 10 millionth Pokemon game. Really not caring. Probably more than that.
They're gonna just sit over here and be like, we've been like stealing your lunch money for a year, right?
Yeah. Be like, welcome
you guys
to the
know
next.
that.
Welcome to the next generation. We'll just put out Breath of the Wild 2 and just be out. Man, I hope that happens.
There are some pretty hefty rumors.
Well, it has to come out. I mean, the reality is it has to come out eventually. That's the one thing that helps my case on this is that eventually they announced it. Eventually they're going to release it. And I have a feeling it's either going to be this coming year or the year after. It's not this year.
So the development studio, Monolith Soft, will be building the new Zelda game, and they handled Xenoblade and Xenosaga. So it's gonna be their baby.
Yeah.
But I thought, didn't we know? So that's the next Zelda. But I thought Breath of the
That's the
Wild
next
2
Zelda.
was made under just a.
I think maybe it is. Yeah. Hold on, let me check.
My understanding was that Breath of the Wild 2 was like a Majora's Mask.
That's what I hear.
So like similar assets.
Yeah.
Basically just more or less an asset flip, but Nintendo style. As much as I hate the term asset flip.
I don't think it'll be an asset flip, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm way using the word wrong, just because it's faster. But
yeah, it's not like Symphony of Night,
No, that's not an asset flip
where you
either.
literally flip the whole castle.
Oh man, John, I'm so angry at you right now. That's not what an asset flip is. I'm so mad.
Wow. Wow.
That was pretty smart though. That was pretty good.
Good.
That was pretty
I
good.
like that.
That was pretty good. Again, reminding everyone that's why we only let him on every 50 episodes or so. Because it's really more like 50. Okay. So, yeah, that's the future. I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm buying them both anyway, so none of it matters. None of it matters to me. I think the only thing is this is going to be expensive. I think that's the one thing that I think. I mean, you get. You agree with me, right?
Big cheddar.
I mean, I doubt. The one thing helping us all is that Sony screwed up with the pricing on the PlayStation 3 so bad that we know that it can't be we can't be $599 US. Like, we can't do that.
So there were some rumors today that it's got to be $500.
That's what I think.
Which
I've
that
heard
sounds
$4.99,
about
yeah.
right. Yeah, $499.99, which that sounds about right because that's about as much as you'll get. Because you're gonna get that SSD and all the ray tracing and all the bells and whistles, the 4K and everything. But to put a bigger hard drive is gonna cost a chunk of change. So you'll see a second SKU with at least another $100, maybe $200 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of dollars. So, let's all take advantage of the fact that GameStop still exists, and you can go down and put $50 down, and then pay a little bit off, and basically have layaway all next year.
Yep.
Because it won't be around for the next generation, but for this one, we can all take advantage. At least that's what I'm gonna do. So,
Well, the cool thing is the rumors about backwards compatibility. So there's that possibility that
I don't even think that's
we'll be
I don't
able
think
to
that's a
trade
rumor.
in-
I don't even think that's a rumor.
I don't think it's been confirmed though.
Man, I'm pretty sure they
Amanda?
confirmed it.
What am I confirming?
Didn't they confirm that?
PS4 and backwards compatibility.
Pretty sure they said that the first time.
I think that they might have said that in the original interview. Let
Yeah.
me pull it up.
It didn't come out this time. I'm pretty sure they said it. And we know the Xbox. We know that already is. Like, they just want
it's
Xbox
supposed
to
to
be.
have a backwards compatibility program. So yeah, this is going to be backwards compatible to the PlayStation 5
Which does mean.
or to the PlayStation 4. Sorry.
Which does mean, people are going to be able to either trade them in or sell them or whatever if they don't want to keep their PS4s. But man, the value on PS4 probably not going to be a lot. But what are you going to do? I am very excited to see what happens. Next year's E3 is going to be very interesting.
Crazy.
And the predictions for next year's E3, which we have to remember, we have to get from Amanda in February.
In February.
Because she
Otherwise, I'm going to be NDA'd to hell.
Yep.
she has a professional advantage. So we have to set her back a little bit. But then the rest of us, we can do our stuff later. So the predictions are going to be way crazier because now we got all sorts of bonkers stuff to talk about. So, folks, I'd love for you to give us your opinions. So head on over to the Engage Family Gaming Facebook page. You can go there by going to engagefamilygaming.com/Facebook or facebook.com/engagefamilygaming. Because we're fancy. Leave us a message, and we'll read them on future episodes. I'd love to hear what you think about the next generation. What are you most excited about? Are you really thrilled to play Just Dance? Do you want to just skip the PS4 and you just want to play all the PS4 games on the PS5 when they ultimately enhance them? Man, listen, if you skip the PS4, let me tell you about a few games. Because you've got some good games coming if you skipped it. So yeah, let us know, and we will read and discuss them on future episodes. Because surely we will be talking about the PS5 a lot over the coming year.
A lot.
Bet you it's going to come up in our most anticipated game type things of 2020. Believe it or not, it's 2020. Oh my god. It didn't even occur to me
in
Like-
2.5 months.
In 2.5 months. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. Before I start freaking having an existential crisis, let's take another break.
Because you'll be turning 40 then.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. That's
And
because
so will I.
that's because I'm old as hell. Anyway,
Yep.
let's take a break, and then we're gonna come back. We've gazed into the future. Now we're gonna take a look back in the past and celebrate the history of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast.
Yay!
Woo!
Hi everyone, this is Steven Dutzman. I'm the host of this podcast. Engaged Family Gaming is supported on Patreon. So if you like what we do and have $1 to spare, head on over to patreon.com/engagedfamilygaming and pledge. Every dollar helps. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the third segment of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. My name is Steven Dutzman. I'm still your host, still here with the Princess of Power and the man behind the curtain. We went around the horn. We gazed into the future and talked a little bit about the PlayStation 5 and a little bit
I
about the
didn't even bring
Xbox
my
Scarlet.
crystal ball.
You didn't? Isn't it just kind of like built in? Don't you have like some
In my brain.
Yeah, your brain? But don't you have like Sailor Moon tarot cards or something over there to like?
Nearby, like within reach.
Oh, you actually do.
I have Persona tarot cards.
Okay, all right.
Wow,
I mean,
that was so on brand.
that was
Oh,
definitely on
It's
brand.
extremely on brand. This is true.
Definitely on brand. Definitely on brand. Okay. So, oh my god, that was the funniest thing. The fact that I said that like totally as a joke, and you were like, "Son, listen." Son, listen.
I got you.
Oh my god. Okay. So
Tarot
I have to like
needs.
I have to get over that because that was so funny. Okay. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast. So did I mention that this is our 200th episode? 200 episodes. Now, we are not every week. We've missed a few along the way, but episode 1, this is how crazy this is, John. This is how long we've been working on this, because John has been the producer on every single one of these episodes. This poor soul has had to listen to my voice. Like, everybody else has a choice. Like, he doesn't.
Ears.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice. Like, everybody else, like, kind of can choose to tune me out. He can't. He has to listen. Our first episode aired October 12th of 2015.
Years, yeah.
We've been doing this a long time. So October 12th, 2015. And our first hosts were me and Kelly Allard, the She Who Needs No Title, and Ben Foster, the Professor. And then my first video game host was my wife. And we have had a number.
Long live General.
The General.
Yes.
The General. We have had just a wide array of people stop through either for a short, brief stint or longer ones. People remember Stacy, who I'm hoping to get back. She's done with her master's degree now. And now she's like a real like big girl librarian, so maybe she'll have more time to come back. You would love
Maybe
Stacy.
she's mastered it.
She has in fact mastered it. Amanda, you would love Stacy. Her husband Dan was on for a while.
Yep.
They also are dorks and LARP with us. And you will probably
awesome.
meet her when I bring you. We have had the infinite co-host. Obviously, my brother has stepped on every once in a while. Amanda, have you met? You haven't met my brother.
I have not.
I have not inflicted him upon you. That'll probably happen. That'll happen at some point. And man, just Rob Kalajian, can't forget him. From a pawn's perspective, he's just so busy with 4 kids, and one of his kids sings in like a national choir, so they like travel all over the place. It's nuts. along with just so many crazy guests, many of which will be making a return tour over the next couple of months, which I am very excited to announce some of the cool secrets, some of which Amanda is helping me coordinate, even though she doesn't really know, but she knows now.
I do.
So,
I know now.
oh, you know
All I
now.
need.
So,
All I need.
all right. So this has been, for me to gush for a few minutes. This has been 200 episodes. Like, this was a joke initially. Like, the idea of, when I started Engaged Family Gaming, the idea of starting a podcast was, oh yeah, that's just something I'll do sometime. And Tomlinson was at a LARP event with me, being like, no, really, bro, you should do a podcast. You told me
It was like, Steve, come on my podcast.
Well,
talk about, I think it was BFIG.
yeah,
And tell me what it's like to be on a panel. I want to know.
yeah,
Because at the time, my podcast was about asking people what they do,
yeah.
or what's a random thing, kind of like the Dork Forest, where you ask people about things,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So I dragged him on, and then he's just like, "So what do I have to do?"
Yeah.
Just record it in Audacity. I'll fix it.
Yeah, that was what was so cool about it, is that it was meant as a joke, but then Tomlinson was eventually like, he knew I needed to get behind a microphone once.
Yep.
So he just forced me on there. Fun fact: the game that I talked about, Ori and the Blind Forest, was the first video game I ever talked about on a recording. And now there are probably close to 1,000 hours of me floating around the internet. Those poor souls that hears my voice. And now with episode 200, we're launching a whole podcasting platform where there are going to be, how many did we did the math before the show started, Amanda. There's going to be 6 more. Yeah. 4, 5, 6. So 7 if you include the super secret top secret project that's coming after January 1. The good news is for John Tomlinson, he doesn't have to produce many of them, if any. So the it's been a wild ride. So John, I'm glad that you're here so I can say thank you for kicking me in the pants and making me sit in front of a microphone. Thank you, and also thank you for editing all 200 of these episodes. It has been a thankless job, so I'm finally saying thank you.
And I'm done now, right?
Nope, because we're on to infinity and beyond, son. We're going for another 200.
All right.
So, it has been. I mean, it turns into something that not only do I enjoy, but it turns out I like to think I'm not terrible at it. And it's kind of taken over the content for the website. We started as kind of like a podunk blog, and now we're a full-on podcasting network. And lucky enough to have met Amanda, who adds a certain authority to what we do, right? Because
we sound legit when we say her name.
Yeah, Amanda, having Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power, definitely adds to the legitimacy of this podunk podcast. So Amanda, thank you for slumming it with me.
Oh my goodness, this is not slumming it.
I know, but it's the bit. It's the bit. I know you don't like the bit. You are one of the people on this earth that hates my self-deprecating humor almost more than anyone. I think you hate it more than my mom does. Which also...
It might be because I'm from another country and a different coast.
Yeah, all right. So it's on brand is what you're saying.
Extremely on brand, yes.
So speaking of you from the other country, so when I posted the picture of Squirrely Dan on my Facebook wall, did you get a certain level of additional respect for me that I knew who Squirrely Dan was? Okay, that's good.
I did.
I just watched the new season the other day. It was so amazing.
Oh my god, I loved it so much.
It's worth mentioning.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad, but it was so good.
Yeah, because it was only 6 episodes.
It's true.
We're talking about a show that
garbage.
is not EFG appropriate.
Not for children.
Yeah. But it's definitely for people who know Canadians or are Canadians. Like Amanda. So, Amanda, thank you very much for joining us for the. How many? I mean, I can't even remember when you started at this point. You started in like March, right? Or was it the beginning of the year?
Yeah, might have been February.
I know that over the holiday break, I was like, hey, we were just chatting in Discord.
Sure.
And I was like, hey, does your contract like have like a non-compete? Like, can you just be on my podcast like forever? Because we were talking about you guesting on my show forever, and it just never happened. So it turns out that Amanda is the opposite of commitment phobic to podcasts. Like, she doesn't want to guest. She just wants to move in. She wants to pick out podcast China and that's fine. It's great.
Pick out paint chips. And listen, by paint chips, I mean logo colors.
Logo colors. New logo is coming, by the way. So you came on and gave us this whole level of legitimacy, which is great. And next week, Linda's going to be on with us, and she's been my friend for almost 20 years.
I love Linda.
She's great. I don't know how often she'll be on the podcast over the next handful of weeks. Unfortunately, her husband is having some back surgery, so she'll be taking care of him a little bit. He's cool. He just...
Good nurse. She's going to be Nurse Linda.
She's going to be Nurse Linda. She's going to be like the Pokemon, the nurse from the Pokemon Center.
Well, that John's also been on our podcast, too.
Yes, because he does...
at his house.
He does, in fact. He messaged me today because he's going to be on his back for 6 weeks. So he's like, can you suggest some very long video games to me? And I was like, son, let me make some suggestions. I'll tell you what I suggested to him afterwards. You're going to be very impressed.
I believe you.
He's going to have a time. This has been enough gushing about like who's been on the show or whatever. I can't wait until Linda is on next week with Jenna and you. And, so we can talk about some of the cool board game stuff we've talked about. But, so I tried to look back at some of the noteworthy video game stuff that has happened. Here's what's weird. Only one console has come out since this podcast started, and that was the Nintendo Switch. We missed the PS4 and the Xbox One because those actually came out in 2013, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we have been through the launch of the Nintendo Switch, which has certainly been a wild success, and we're certainly going to be here next year for the PS4 or PS5 and whatever Xbox starts with it. Here's what I wanted to do, because I always think of when we think about video game years, forget consoles, like we talk about the games. So what I thought I would do, so let's take a little trip back in memory lane and talk about some of the games that were the game of the year for Engaged Family Gaming. And we talked about these extensively on the podcast. So we're going to start with last year. Now, John, you cheat because you edited all these. You know all these. Although I had to look some of them up, even though I'm the person that chooses. Amanda gets to help choose this year. Because it needs to be at least somewhat balanced. So guess what, guys? One of our games of the year is going to be super weird because Amanda's helping. I didn't mean that in a negative way, although it sounded like it. So last year, our game of the year was Spider-Man from Marvel's Spider-Man for PlayStation 4, far and away. Like, man, listen, our grown-up game of the year was God of War. How crazy, like last year had God of War and Spider-Man in it. Nintendo just didn't really bring the pain the same way last year as Sony did.
Oh, they bring it this year.
They did, but they did in November and December. We got Pokemon Let's Go, and then we got Smash.
True.
Within weeks of each other.
It's true.
But like there was no big, sprawling narrated game.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why like God of War is just one of the greatest pieces of art that you could watch that as a movie.
Yeah.
And it would be like a PG-13 movie. So yeah.
You did. What was that?
My secret shame is I still haven't played it.
You should because it's
I didn't
short.
Spoil it. Yes.
No.
And
It's totally fine.
$20,
At this
Amanda.
point,
$20.
no, we have it. We have it. We have like two
Why are you
copies.
talking to us?
Because she's working.
Because I'm playing the Outer Worlds.
At this point, if she didn't play it, she ain't gonna play
I had
it.
2 copies of God of War. We only have the one? Ah, that's right. We have 2 copies of Spider-Man. My bad.
Yeah. Speaking of Game of the Year last year, I mean, so yeah,
Spider-Man's
I
amazing,
would
too.
recommend God of War for nothing else because you could beat it in a day.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a great rainy day and just put it on easy and churn through it. Unless you're one of those people that has to play games on hard, just play it on easy and just enjoy the story.
I play it on normal.
It's very linear,
Anyway.
but like also open world, but it's beautiful.
It's not really. It's an open. Anyway. I don't want to talk. It's not an open world. It's definitely not. But anyway.
Yeah.
This is not the God of War podcast because that is definitely it's a soft M
Yeah.
compared to his other
Soft
ventures.
M.
So let's go to 2017. Now 2017 really weird, right? So the Switch came out that year. We actually have we don't pick I picked our 5 games of the year and everything was the whole year was dominated by the discussion of really 2 games. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. Probably the best year for like EFG games ever because it was just no question.
Extremely good year.
Let's talk about Horizon for a minute. Like, so Amanda, how good was that freaking video game?
Unbelievable.
Like-
Absolutely unbelievable. Like top to tail.
Yeah. The thing that caught me, so people on this podcast have heard my story about my Switch. You have not. So just to share it very briefly, I bought my Switch on Amazon. You know where the story is going now. So I bought my Switch.
I do.
And it did not come on time. So I took Friday and Monday off from work. The Switch came out on Friday. I was like, I'll do an unboxing video on Facebook Live. I had like all these plans. I had like a whole piece of paper of all these pieces of content I was going to make. And Thursday night, I called Amazon and I was like, hey, so I just want to make sure, is it coming? And they were like, yes. But it's at a shipping facility in New Jersey. And I'm like, cool. So that means it's probably going to show up at some point tomorrow. And they're like, yes. And I'm like, are you sure? And I asked, I just want to say this, can I drive to this shipping facility in New Jersey and just get it now? Like, can you just get it off the truck? I will drive there right now and get it. No, you can't do that, sir. Which I know that they couldn't let me, but I had to ask, right?
It's true, you did.
Because I 100%, because this was at 10 o'clock on Thursday night, I 100% would have gotten in the car, driven to New Jersey, gotten that Switch, and come home. Now,
I believe you.
but it didn't happen. So the next day, I went to GameStop to buy my copy of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I did. And then I get a call from the general who was like, hey, so I called Amazon. And it turns out that not only was the Switch not in a shipping facility in New Jersey, they don't have a shipping facility in New Jersey. Which I'm sitting in the back of... I'm sitting, like, in the back of a GameStop, like, where the T-shirts are, and I was like, excuse me, what? And so I rage purchased Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, well, so my Switch isn't coming. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. And so I proceeded to play 30 hours of Horizon Zero Dawn between Friday at noon and Sunday morning.
Ooh, dang.
And man, I'm gonna be real with you. That was a good way to play that game.
That's
So,
fair.
so I played it, and I stopped because on Sunday afternoon, the Switch showed up. It came to my house Sunday evening while I was at my parents' house. So it sat in the freezing cold on my front porch. I was terrified that someone was going to take it. But we got it, we brought it home, we did the unboxing, and then I proceeded to play Zelda. Knowing that I only had that night and the next day, I proceeded to play Zelda for like 15 hours between that day and the next. So I played way too much video games. That was easily the best quality per hour of video game time over the course of a long weekend I have ever had. And so they ran neck and neck for me as my games of the year Horizon Zero Dawn is such a masterpiece. I mean, let alone the fact that you're Merida shooting robot dinosaurs with bows and arrows. Like, which, by the way, that's awesome by itself. But also, man, like, the story as it unfolded, which I'm not going to spoil because people should play it. It's like $11 regularly on Amazon for the complete edition, which is theft. It really, like, some people say it was predictable. I did not. Maybe that's just because I'm dumb. I'm cool with it. It made the story better for me. I thought that some of the places that it went were really interesting. It had something to say. And, yeah, it's just really, really freaking good. Really good. And then what can I say about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that I haven't yelled at Anthony John Agnello on the internet about?
And he's still not listening to you.
Oh, he definitely listens to me.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not listening to me?
I'm not listening to either of you.
Why? I like
She's ignoring us.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
No, I was just kidding. I was talking about you and Anthony.
Yeah. Because he and I spent like an entire episode fighting about it. It was the best.
He tried. He tried bringing him over to the Breath of the Wild side.
I got him to say, okay, I can see that. That is... Wait. Getting that man to say, okay, I can see that, that's actually pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty okay. It's pretty okay.
So that's 2017. Dominated by Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. Now we're going to go even farther back. This is where things might actually be a surprise. Would either of you like to take a guess as to what the game of the year was for 2016?
I don't even remember that far back.
Was that Ori and the Blind Forest, or
No.
was it the year before?
Nope. Ori and the Blind Forest has never been any of our game of the year.
I thought it was on the website.
It's on the list, but it's not like the one.
Ah, okay.
Remember, we do 5 every year.
All right.
I can't remember what came out that year.
I'll go with it.
Overwatch.
Overwatch, yeah. I see that.
You know, that's pretty good.
How crazy
like
is that?
that.
Overwatch came out in 2016.
Pretty cool.
And now it's chugging away on the Switch.
Yeah, well, now we know why it took so long.
Extremely yikes.
Extremely yikes. Well, you know what? It's fine. They'll just put out Overwatch 2 and whatever that means, whatever that looks like. They got to announce something at BlizzCon in a couple of weeks. You think?
I actually ended up getting my BlizzCon ticket as a member of the press. You know, when they sent it to me and told me that I was allowed to go?
When?
2 days ago.
Well, they got to fill the seats somehow.
I'm like D-list, man.
Well,
because I just keep dragging them in the press.
Well, I mean, they got to do. You think they're going to have any audience questions this year at BlizzCon? No. Not even a little. How many people are going to be dressed up? How many people do you think are going to be dressed up like Winnie the Pooh? Anyway, so
people are all going to be dressed up like May. Also, we said we weren't going to talk about this.
But I'm just being sarcastic. I'm not talking about it. I'm just making jokes.
He's just being salty.
I'm just being silly. They got to announce something. If it means that I get an announcement of Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, then I guess what am I going to do? So back to 2015. Splatoon.
I'm going to say, I was going to say Splatoon.
All right, I'll give it to you. Splatoon, how crazy of a surprise was that? Amanda, thinking back to 2015 probably shorter hair.
Yes, much shorter.
When they announced Splatoon, because this is one that I actually really wanted to talk about. When they announced Splatoon, did you think that game was going to be anything?
No. I thought it was going to be absolutely nothing.
Right? When they announced it, I didn't even have a reaction, which from me is saying something because I'm an unstoppable hype monster. And they announced it and I was like, oh, neat. This is going to flop. It wasn't until the global test fire where I was like, oh, this is a video game. My family spent months where our evening activity was passing the gamepad between the 4 of us. One match after another. My wife played. Both of my kids played. It was crazy. And that game, not only did Splatoon 2 come out and just do bananas numbers, it has an esports scene. And clearly, we're getting Splatoon 3 within the next year or two, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So that's been the games of the year that really we've definitely talked about all the time on our various podcasts. It's almost time to pick Game of the Year 2019, which is actually really hard, I think. We'll decide that in December. That will be a Skype chat for us then. But just to dump a little bit before that to 2014, how about Mario Kart 8? Has there been a better kart racer ever?
No.
The fact that it's one of the best selling Switch games as a deluxe model, like, just makes it one of the greatest games of all time.
I mean, it's definitely
easily, yeah,
that's a fact.
Easily amazing.
And I think you and I have gotten into this, Amanda. Do you maybe I'm remembering this? You don't think that they're going to make Mario Kart 9, right? Is that right? Somebody told me.
It
Go
was
ahead.
me.
It was you.
I did it. It was me. I did it.
You're like, I don't believe it. I still think they will, but I'm not a betting man because the last time I made a bet, I ended up having to play a horse riding MMO during Extra Life. Nicole Tanner
glorious.
Nicole Tanner did that to me. So I'm not a betting man anymore. Yeah, listen, she played for keeps.
Yep.
I was like, ouch.
She went for it, man.
And I was like, that's a game for tween girls, and I'm a grown-ass man. Like, you can't make me play that game. I turned it into a stealth action game because I played it as a stealth action game because I was trying to avoid contact with other players because I didn't want them to chat with me because, dude, that's, like, gotta be a felony. So definitely, probably. I mean. So
what do you guys think of this year? Like, what, as far as family games, what is your family like? Let's not go say Jedi Fallen Order because it's T for teen. Let's go straight up family. What are you guys thinking this year? Like, what's your preliminary?
You're putting me on the spot.
Yeah. I think we need to play. I think we need to play Luigi's Mansion 3 and Pokemon first.
Yeah. I think that's
that's the problem. Yeah,
because if they are bad, then we have a problem. Because this year has been this year has been very challenging. Looking at the problem is, I and we actually did some work on this. I was talking to the kids, because we started working on our holiday gift guides that we would be publishing very, very soon. And looking at the list,
working on ours too, man. I hear you.
So, actually, I mean, my game of the year right now, and this is before it is all finished, is Steam World Quest.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, folks.
It's not Goose Game?
I actually haven't played Goose Game yet.
You haven't played Goose Game? I haven't played Goose Game either.
It came out at a really awkward time.
Yeah.
Because it came out the Friday of the last of a LARP event.
Yeah, the one that we went to together, I think.
Was it the one we went to together? No, I'm pretty sure it came out. Was it that weekend?
It was that weekend.
So, and my daughter is hungry for Untitled Goose Game. I actually believe wholeheartedly that there is going to be this. I will actually bet this one mainstream quote unquote video game website is going to give Untitled Goose Game Game of the Year this year. I am certain of it. Somebody out there, like a Eurogamer or a US Gamer or something, is going to, because it's dominated the conversation in weird ways.
Especially the memes out there.
Yeah, but SteamWorld Quest is darn good. Have you played SteamWorld Quest, Amanda?
I have not.
Are you a SteamWorld girl?
I am not. I've never played those games.
We've talked. You know what? We've talked about this. I keep asking.
We have.
I keep asking these dumb questions.
It's not a dumb question though.
It is. SteamWorld Quest is just really stupid.
Yeah.
But you love stupid. It's your favorite.
I do. It is my favorite. What about you, John? What do you think?
So, like, I don't know. Like in a year that we had Mario Maker 2, we had Kingdom Hearts 3, we had Zelda Link's Awakening, we got this Ring Fit Adventure, which is like getting a lot of hype out there. Like I don't. Yeah. Oh, you got it, Amanda? How
I
is
got it. I previewed it at Golan's offices. It was pretty cool. So I haven't played it yet because I haven't had any time.
And then we have the
Just
medieval remake later this week.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. So like it's a weird
There's a
year.
lot. And there's a lot of stuff squished into these last couple of months. It'll be really interesting, towards the end of the year when we actually get to really sit down and discuss it. Because I don't know, man, it's crazy this year. But and it's like, and I don't know what next year is going to be because from we know Cyberpunk and all that stuff, but like for us, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, folks, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, and Tetris 99 was this year.
Oh man, I forgot. Yeah, Tetris 99 Game of the Year. I forgot. Forget it. Tetris 99 is definitely in the top. But it's weird because you
worth
can't.
the $10 for the DLC.
Yeah, I would think so. So, folks in the internets that are listening, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. We're going to go ahead and share this into our community. That would be engagefamilygaming.com/community. That's our Facebook group. Or you could join our Discord at engagefamilygaming.com/discord. We're going to share it there. I'd love to hear your thoughts, number one, about your games of the year over the last couple of years since this podcast has been in existence. I want to hear some of those thoughts. Specifically, I want to hear people's thoughts on Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild versus Horizon Zero Dawn. Or if they should just stand as equals within that year. Also, let's just start talking about this year because, man, why not? We're dorks. We're supposed to rank video games. That's what we do. So, with that, Amanda and John, this has been episode 200.
Dang.
Episode
200 episodes.
200 of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast.
So many hours of listening to your voice.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I like to talk.
On both sides.
I know. So, I hope you folks enjoyed listening as much as the three of us enjoyed recording, taking a stroll down memory lane, and pre-reminiscing the future. We will be back next week for episode 200.5 because we're going to be coming back and talking about some of the wacky board game stuff that has happened, like Fireball Island and Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and all sorts of other cool board game stuff that has happened. And we'll also be celebrating that with Linda and the General. And boys, boy, is it going to be crazy. Because, man, my wife likes to make fun of me, and it's fine because I love it. So, see y'all next week. And until next time, don't forget to get your family game on. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Music for the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast is Android Sock Hop by Kevin MacLeod and audio production by Six Pack Nerds Productions.